you're talking about endive here in California, there's one place to go, the California Endive Farm. And here's the owner, Rich Collins. You're retired now though, right?
Yes.
You are retired, but you started this whole thing, right?
I did a long time ago.
A long time ago, many a year ago. How long has it been?
Well, the nascent event was back in May of 1978
Okay.
when I was a dishwasher in a French restaurant up in Sacramento. And wanted to be a farmer, grew market vegetables as a kid in Sacramento. Learned about endive there for a very special dinner that was taking place in that restaurant.
Okay.
And that planted the seed, literally in my mind, to start producing endive in California. So that was almost 40 years ago.
Wow, and did you ever think it would grow into this?
No, no.
So how does the life of an endive start exactly?
Well, we plant a seed, a hybrid seed that's purchased in Europe, and that gets sown every spring through early summer.
Oh, okay.
And it takes about 5 months in the field to produce that mature chicory root, which we then will harvest out of the ground to bring into the cold storage room.
All right, Michael, what are we going to see behind that door?
Well, once we grow the roots outdoors in the fields, bring them in here. We want to hold that energy and preserve it until we're ready to finish that second growing process of the endive.
Got it.
They may be in here up to 10 months, but this is basically keeping in the winter. 28 degrees, blowing snow. We have about 4 million pounds of finished product in root form currently stored in this facility.
After you. Oh God. This is it. This is where I die. Okay. So Mike, this is a lot of snow here. Don't look at it. I can't even talk. Okay.
Yeah, the wind chill here is probably in the teens somewhere, but this is how we can hold the root's energy for up to 10 months.
All right, Mike, what is this that we're looking at here?
This is an endive root. So
Okay.
we've taken those deep frozen crates out of the deep storage, brought them over to thaw them out for a few days. And from here, we'll take this root and plant it into our growing trays.
Mike, tell me what he's doing here.
So from the deep storage, they've thawed out, and now these roots are being ready to plant. So this gentleman is placing the roots into the finishing growing trays individually, just so that they're going to be upright once that tray is flipped over, and then we expose them to the spring growing weather.
Oh, I see. Okay, don't adjust your TVs. It's okay. We're in the dark, but we're supposed to be in the dark, right, Mike?
Right. Endive is grown in the dark just to not have the chlorophyll activated. It's naturally grown in natural conditions. This is spring weather, 55 degrees, pure dark, to keep the leaves from turning green. Sunlight activates the chlorophyll turns green. So we have these endive in the dark to, one, make them unique versus all the other lettuces in the world, and two is, so they're not as bitter. When they turn green, they're a little more bitter.
Oh, I get it.
So
Okay.
what we're looking at right now is freshly planted endive down here. So this is after it's been out of that cold room and thawed out, and we've exposed them to spring weather, about 55 degrees. This is at, say, a few days old.
Okay.
Here behind me, this is about a week in, so they're moving very, very fast in this warm, humid environment.
Wow.
And maybe you can even hear how they're being watered through these tubes and these trays. And then after about 2.5 weeks, they'll continue to grow, pushing the bulb almost like a tulip shape out of the roots, and they're about, say, a week out from being harvested.
Oh, wow. And are people surprised that it's grown here in California?
Very much so,
Are they,
yes.
do they think it's grown else, you know?
Generally, a lot of folks think it has to be grown in Belgium. Because it's a Belgian endive.
Yes.
But in fact, we're still the only growers in America. It's that difficult to grow.
So, Mike, this is kind of the last process for the endive here, and kind of the first process for us consumers, basically, as we'll see it. What do we see here?
So it's been 3 weeks since we pulled them out of the winter.
Fast forward.
They've been exposed to the spring, and now these hardworking ladies are harvesting them. So they're taking each root and breaking off that neck. The root goes into a shoot and has actually become cattle feed for our neighbors. One endive will grow one head.
Okay.
So we've gone through all that process, 5 months out in the field to grow the root, months and months in that deep freeze, 3 weeks in the spring conditions. Now we're harvesting it, and that root's life is done. It's off for cattle feed. But the first step of enjoying this product is just about on the threshold. From here, they'll harvest them and pack them, and then we'll ship them throughout the United States so the consumers can enjoy them, whether it's in a restaurant, a retail store, or for this weekend celebration of the basketball playoffs.